Hey all, it's me, Dove, of the Mistress Dove channel, and I'm doing another one of these unscripted update videos. Remember when I did this around this time last year? That time it was a little more stressful because around that time, the problem I was dealing with was that I had to deal with YouTube being uncooperative when my channel was wrongfully terminated, and spent multiple days basically arguing back and forth with them trying to get it back. And it was only through the support of plenty of people, much like you guys in my audience, was I able to actually regain what I lost. But we're doing that again because, much like December of last year, December of this year has its own new hurdles. Hurdles that I feel you, as my audience, need to know about. So, back around September, I want to say, late September, early October, I was informed by the current owners of the house that I have been a tenant in for the last multiple years. I want to say 3 years, but it's not an exact science because I wasn't keeping count. I was informed by them that I am to leave in February. Now, this is going to sound more dramatic than I want it to, but I promise you it's not that dramatic. And I'm not putting blame on the people in charge of the house I've been living in. They were very kind to let me live here at all, to provide me that home, and to provide me that space for as long as they did. No shade, no ill will, nothing like that. I want that to be clear. Anyway, around late September, early October, I was informed by the owners of the house that I have been a tenant in that I am to vacate the premises no later than February 8th at 5 p.m. For the past couple months, I have been working mostly in the background, trying to save up what I can from my current job and from donations that stream watchers and my general followers as a whole have been giving me since I first started speaking publicly about this moving situation to help me get on my feet. However, I feel it is crucial, both for my sake and for the sake of my audience, that I make a video where I talk about this, and I felt no better stage for that there was no better stage for that than this, the update video that I was probably going to do at the end of the year anyway. So here's the thing. I need to be out by February 8th. As you may know, moving costs money. A lot of money. $4,000 to $5,000, I believe, is a rough estimate I was given with the people I'm planning my move with, which are not the people I've been living with. I'm getting help from other people. People I'm not going to name because I'm not sure if they're comfortable with me naming them offhandedly like that. Now, we are still figuring out what the plan even is, because a combination of money plus timing, scheduling, general logistics is making this a much larger hurdle than you'd expect. Or maybe you would expect it to be a large hurdle. I don't know how familiar you are with moving. As a result, I have considered this, and I'm just going to say it outright. I do need your help. I will be working a lot in January. I was supposed to be working a lot in December too, but my job screwed me over in ways that I can't really explain here because I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to legally say, but I will say that I'm out an entire month that I could be working to build up more money. And that was an unexpected shift because I was kind of under the assumption that December and January I'd be able to work every day that they could have me, and I'd be able to build up money from those paychecks and use that plus what I get from you guys and make that enough to help me get my stuff to the new place, to get the new apartment, because yes, I'm trying to get an apartment because I have nowhere else to go. And unfortunately, because of my job screwing me over like it did, I'm now having to ask more deliberately for monetary help from my own audience. Those of you who support the Patreon, you've always been appreciated by us, and that continues to be true now. Those who have donated directly through the Ko-fi, through the PayPal link, or through the donate button on my Twitch streams, thank you for that as well. You have been appreciated. Everything that has been given to me by audience members since I started asking for help with the move has gone into my savings account. I have not spent a single cent of your money on anything else. And that is an important note, and I want that honesty and openness. I've been spending some of my paycheck from my job on stuff like food and things I need, but I've been trying to pull back spending in general, and I refuse to spend any donated money whatsoever on anything other than the move right now. As a result, I'm going to just say this outright. Please look into the description of this video and see the Ko-fi page, and if you can help with make the move any more viable, that would be great. It's not just moving my stuff to a new place, it's also me trying to get the place. And that is its own hurdle. I had to get a credit card just so I could start building up more of a credit score, because apparently that's important to renting an apartment, which is great. I love that. Awesome. That's sarcasm, by the way. The mouthwashing video is supposed to go up on Christmas Day. Patreon supporters will get to watch it earlier than the public, like always, like usual anyway. And that mouthwashing video was supposed to be an October video, mainly for Halloween. I got it like already on my end for Wally to edit by the end of September. And then tragedy struck on his end, and by tragedy, I mean his computer started dying, which slowed down production. Like, that man tried to truck along with the editing of that video with his dying PC, but it was just not doing it. And just only recently, like this week, he finally got a new PC. So he's really been on the grind to try to make up for that lost time, and that's great. I appreciate that. And I'm hoping the mouthwashing video does well, because I haven't had a video out in a couple months, and I'm behind schedule. I'm behind schedule in general, honestly. I didn't release as many videos this year as I wanted to. I got multiple videos I said I wanted to put out in the last update video out, but there were videos I said I wanted to make that still haven't been made. The Flash video hasn't been made. The Final Fantasy 16 video has been completely scrapped and is being remade as a completely different video with a different thesis and everything. You know, the Frozen video is still nowhere near anything close to completion. Neither is the Lunatics video. At some point, like, you know, I'm probably going to stop telling you guys in these update videos what exactly I'm working on, unless I can guarantee they come out next year, because I'm starting to realize that only some of my plans happen when I want them to, and other plans take longer. So here's what I can guarantee next year, like, without a doubt. Next year, in 2026, I am doing sort of a soft reboot with the channel. And what I mean by that is the channel will be getting a new profile pic. It'll be getting a new, like, general aesthetic. The logo is changing. The little you may have noticed that there's a little emblem now that shows up on the sidebar of videos. You may not notice. I don't know how that really works. The watermark is what I mean when it's changing. We're getting a new intro. The background's going to start moving. And I'm getting a new design. The design isn't ready yet. And yes, the new design is still being drawn up by the ever-faithful, ever-reliable Taco Draws, the person who did my original slides back in 2021 when I started this channel. So, look forward to that. And the Lost Soul Aside video will be the first video of the new year, and will be the video that debuts post-soft reboot. I will be separating the videos done in the first era from videos done in the new era. I do also plan to make just a general Mistress Dove playlist that goes through every video in order. But there will now be separate playlists to differentiate between the first era, G1, as I've been jokingly calling it, and G2, which is where we're going to be. The reason for the soft reboot is a couple things. One, it has been multiple years since I started this channel. Things about myself have changed, and certain goals of mine with this channel have changed as well. When I started this channel, my goal was to be a informative, introspective analysis channel that also was a, funny, YouTube reviewer show with lore and stuff. And that included, skits, that included characters, that included, talking about licensed games. But I wanted to talk about those licensed games like they were just games, instead of treating them like either punchlines to unfunny jokes or, like they were some sort of like oddity to be glared at. I wanted to, be a different kind of voice in that space. But I realized I sort of kind of talked about most of the licensed games that I grew up wanting to talk about, like putting some respect on those Scooby-Doo games that we talked about, which, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I've noticed it. The past couple years since I made that original video, I've seen more and more videos on those games crop up. And I don't want to say that I'm, responsible for that or anything, but I do think it's cool that something that I did, because there weren't that many videos on them, has slowly been getting more videos. I talked about the JoJo PS2 games, which had been catching my fascination for years. I, waxed nostalgic about some Wizard games that I partially regret waxing nostalgic about, but I also don't regret because I liked making the video, but we're never getting a part 2, I'm sorry. And, it's like, that was fun, but if you probably noticed, around the time I introduced Human Me as like a separate character, there was slowly a shift in what I was doing here. I did more video essay stuff without the skits, more analysis stuff. I didn't just make videos that had like the title of the subject hyphen my name, like doing the Nitro Rad titling of videos. I started using like video essay, like essay style titles. And Mistress, the character, stopped showing up in videos as often. In fact, I think the last time she showed up in a video was for the Blockbuster video. And I realized that I was leaning way more into the human videos than I was the Mistress videos. And I realized that despite that, the channel was still called Mistress Dove, and that's a username I still identify with and I still want to be using. So part of the reason I'm doing the soft reboot isn't just because I feel like it's time to do that, because I've grown and changed and learned things about myself that I didn't know before, and my goals with the channel have changed, but I also am doing it because I want to unify what were originally two halves of the channel. So I'm going to bring up a new design, and that new design is what I like to call the unified design. It's a design that is meant to both be the, vampire Dami Mommy that is iconic for my brand, for my identity, for what people see me as, but it's also closer to who I actually am in like attire, in like fashion sense, in like style, in a way that the original Mistress design kind of just isn't anymore. I don't think it ever really was, to be honest. I mean, I'll always like that classic Mistress design, and it will always be a part of me, but the longer time went on, the less and less I identified with that design as me, and the more I saw it as just a character of mine. And I want a design for me that is more me. And I think it helps that the design that me and Taco worked on together to get created is based on an actual outfit I own, with some embellishments. Now, again, the design isn't, the new slides aren't finished. Thankfully, I paid for them all. I paid for them before I learned I was moving, so we didn't get screwed in that sense, because this has been a plan of mine for a while. It's a long time coming. And I'm hoping that with the new era, we can move forward and people will welcome it. People will welcome the new era with open arms. And if they do, I'll appreciate that. The content isn't really changing all that much. I'm still going to be doing video essays and analysis mainly on video games, but like, you know, it's just I'm focusing more on what I want to be doing, which is what I was already doing, but now you can see it in like the aesthetics and the vibes, the unity within the channels is like everything. That's part of the reason I want to separate the videos before the soft reboot from the ones that are being done after. Now, this doesn't mean that all the old videos are non-canon or that the old videos are like, I'm not going to pull a Cat Icarus and slap old on them because I'm proud of several of those videos still. Goku vs. Superman, great video. My Kyrie essay, literally my favorite thing I've ever made. The Shion video, close second to my favorite thing I've ever made. Like, there's a bunch of videos here I'm happy I made, which is why I'm still going to have like a unified playlist for people who just want to binge all my stuff. But like, this is going to be something, you know? And I'm hoping you guys can be excited for that. The Lost Soul-Aside video is the premiere for the new era. The finale to the old era, the classic era, will be the mouthwashing video. It'll be the last video to use the static background, last video to use the classic, like, human avatar before we move on to, like, the greener pastures of the future. And just in general, Mistress Dove as a YouTube channel will become more unified. There will be no more confusion over, you know, if this is going to be one of those videos with the skits or not, because I don't think I'm doing the skits anymore. Partially because after a while, the skits stopped being something fun to do alongside the review and started feeling like obligations that I was doing and stapling to essays that I would rather just let be essays on their own, you know? Not to say those characters won't still exist in their own way, but I think, you know, when I eventually decide to bring back and re-show up characters from the classic era, you know, like Aquila or Barbara or Calvin, I think I'm going to have them be more smaller cameo appearances, kind of like what Civi does with like Cancer Mouse, where like there is a lore, but it's not like extended Linkara skits like I have been doing. I mainly just want to focus on the video essaying. I kind of just want to focus on my analysis, on sharing parts of myself and my reflections on art. And I think focusing on what I want to do instead of feeling like I have to add some stuff there because it's like obligated of me is the right call. There's some other videos I want to do in the new era that, you know, are going to happen at some point. I can't say they're going to happen next year. The Final Fantasy 16 video, that's still going to happen at some point. Don't know when. I'm going to do an Unbeatable video at some point. Have a name for it and everything. I'm going to do a retrospective where I go through every video, like every episode of Death Battle made in 2025. And I'm going to, like, you know, talk about them and analyze them and rank them. And I think that'll be really cool. The Death Battle fans in my audience, they always come through. Whenever I upload a Death Battle video, those videos always do gangbusters. So, you know, I'm kind of banking on the Death Battle fans still being with me. I know that I have so many Kingdom Hearts videos on the horizon. You better believe I'm going to keep doing Kingdom Hearts videos. That's like one of my favorite things to write about and talk about. We got the eventual Nominee video whenever I get around to doing that. The Aqua video when we get to that point. The more like close to happening Kingdom Hearts videos are that I want to do a video on Riku and specifically how his story and, you know, is like reflective of very specific like experiences that I feel are meaningful and important to like dive into and analyze and share. And another is discussing the concept and general like existence of plurality and reflecting on that through the lens of Kingdom Hearts as someone who is plural who also knows other people who are plural and has dug into the plural community and has been learning more and more about it as, you know, she's been coming to terms with it's like a whole thing. And I'm looking forward to doing those, and I know at some point I also want to do a video on the Devil May Cry Netflix show, but I'm waiting for Season 2 to come out before I do that, so that, you know, now that we're kind of close to the Season 2 release. Romeo is a Dead Man. When that comes out, I'm definitely doing a video on that. Same with Stupid Never Dies, because I'm really excited for both of those games. At one point, I wanted to, like, do a video ranking all the Glitch production shows and analyzing them. And I wanted to do that for, like, a year at this point. And then I saw a cartoon, she beat me to it, so... You know, I might do that, I might not do it, who knows? I know at some point, I don't know when, but at some point, I want to do the Bayonetta retrospective that has been on my mind for a while. You know, I'm not going to call it the rise and fall of Bayonetta, but that has been a title I've jokingly been calling it for a bit now. I keep debating if I want to make a Sly Cooper video, because every time I write that video, I get it done, and then I realize that I'm scared to put it out. But, like, that's a video that's always like a, I'll do it eventually sort of thing, so who knows. The Flash Suits video that I talked about last year is scripted. It's ready. I just need to record it. But I'm not really satisfied with it, and I don't even know if that video will happen at this point, because I'm not sure if, like, I care a lot about that topic, but I'm not sure if I want to bother, especially considering the fact that multiple videos I've done that are kind of out of, like, the realm of the video essay stuff don't do well. Like, the Fortnite videos fail miserably every time I upload them. The Overwatch video bombed horribly. And, like, even though I thought I was having fun with the Fortnite videos, coming up with hypothetical collabs, and the Overwatch video, I feel like I made good points, and I had a pretty decent thesis at the end there. It wasn't enough, and I just don't want to bother with videos that are, like, interesting to me, but don't really do well, especially as I move into 2026 and have to start supporting myself way more financially than I've had to in the past. So I need to focus more on, like, the video essays, because that's the thing that I really like doing, that you guys also really like me doing. So that's where the focus is going to be in the future, because I kind of need to start taking this more seriously if I'm ever going to start making real money out of this. And I know money is like a shitty thing to be thinking about at all, but I'm sorry, it's kind of important. Like, it just is. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not doing this for the money, because trust me, the money isn't enough for me that to be the reason. I do this because I like talking about things. I like making videos about things. I like expressing my opinions online and putting out my truth to an audience that resonates with it. The reactions to the Shion video when that was premiering were some of the most motivating things I had ever read in my life. I still go back to the replay. I still go back to that video and I watch the chat replay, and it just makes me feel better about myself. I still get comments on the Kyrie video with people telling me how happy they are to see this character represented in a way that she rarely gets to by the fan base that undermines her all the time. And that makes me feel so good about myself. And I like that the things I do and the things I care about mean something to people. That's why I do it, because I like doing it. But as much as I like doing it, I also need to focus on the parts of what I like doing that also make money. It's kind of like similar to something Cartoon She said in like one of his videos. I think it was the Arthur Christmas video recently. There are other things I engage with. No, it wasn't the Arthur Christmas video. It was like, I think it was the Animation of Cinema video. One of the two. Again, this is unscripted. Where he talked about the fact that there's like, he does more and engages with more media than just the stuff he talks about on the channel. But he needs to focus on the things that, you know, people actually want to come to a video from him that people want to see. Like, and I get that, you know, he kind of started as a cartoon YouTuber, and I understand that, you know, when it's your job, you gotta focus on the stuff you like making that also gives back in the views and the revenue and everything. And I kind of have to do that as well. Because if I'm going to make it through here, I need to focus on that sort of thing. So the video essays are the focus. The filler videos, like the Fortnite video and the Overwatch Persona 5 collab video, don't expect more of those smaller videos. I'm probably not going to do those anymore. I'm probably just going to keep focused on the bigger projects, the projects that I really care about, that you guys really care about and really want to see. And I think that's a fair decision on my part to make. And I think that's everything. I talked about the fact that we're getting like a overhaul of the channel, new design, you know, into the new year, the new era. I talked about the fact that I need help moving and I need your financial help to push me through so that I, you know, can make it to the other side. And I'm going to, and I talked about the fact that that going into 2026 and beyond, I'm going to focus more on the video essays, on the stuff that I really want to do, like the big meaty videos that you guys really like, that I really like making. The smaller videos aren't going to happen, so I guess, yeah, the Flash Suits video isn't happening, huh? Because that fell under the filler video type. And, you know, it sucks when, you know, you have to cancel things and focus on other things, but c'est la vie, it's life. I think that's everything I want to say. I probably forgot something, and I'm only gonna think about it after I, you know, upload this like last time. And I hope that this doesn't age poorly, but, you know, next week on Christmas Day, hopefully you'll be able to watch the mouthwashing video that I've been working on for over a year at this point, and that Wally's been editing for the past several months, and hopefully you guys like it, because I really like it, but I'm really nervous about putting it out there. It's the grand finale to the classic era of Mistress Dove, and until next time, may your hearts be your guiding keys.